it starts not being fixed up, right? And we are live.
Right back at you.
Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto episode 193. Today is Thursday, June 21st, and I am King.
And I'm Bitcoin. All good.
Hold up. What window is that? I don't know how that just happened. Oh well, I had a new audio. As long as you all can hear us, that's all that matters. Let's get it started for the free Bitcoin. Who won yesterday?
Oh yeah, so for our free Bitcoin, in response to our question, what are the top 3 things that you need in order to start a crypto community, a successful crypto community? And our winner was Alec G. Thank you for your comment. I actually had the best comment. Basically saying, for one, you have to have consensus.
Oh, Alec, what's up?
Yep, that's what I'm saying. So Alec's been around a while. He's seen, how it works. You have to have consensus. You have to have a group of people who agree that this coin is worth something. Second, it has to be open source. If it's closed source, you might as well go ahead and throw your code in the trash, because nobody's going to believe you. Nobody's going to say, yeah, we should go back to the way it was. So it's got to be open source, and then also you have to have a product. You can either have a working product or something that you're aiming towards, but usually you want to have something in place, and that's how you get successful crypto communities that we have now. So good comment there, Alec G. I already sent those free Satoshis, brother.
Appreciate it, Alec G. And of course, for those who don't know, Alec G is one of our moderators, as well as basically he set up everything on the tech side for us for YouTube. So much appreciated to him. Yeah. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs real quick. What's going on? Alex Daly, John Siebert, Mike Bitcoin Outlaw, Jamal J up in New York, Torrance J, Playlist, Banger Committee, Gabriel Hernandez, of course, Antonio, about to shout out Antonio, second time in a minute, Milto. Yes, today was a 10-ish type of day. That's because we fixed the sound and the word, and the physical action. So.
Oh yeah, shout out Alec.
Jizzy Mac, everybody, Coke by Paris. All right, and then shout out to Antonio. Like I said, of course, Antonio's one of our moderators.
Oh yeah.
You can see him there. Antonio's based out of the UK, but he travels a lot. But right now in the UK, Huobi is having an event there in London. So he's been there, and from what he's told us already, it looks like they're talking about fiat to crypto pairings coming in Q4. So big news. First coming at you here at KRBE Crypto. He said they're also talking about quant trading. They mentioned a little bit about decentralized exchanges, and they're also releasing their own version of a local Bitcoin called Huobi HTC, which supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tether.
Oh yeah.
All right, so shout out to Antonio. Thanks again. He's over in the UK.
Always good to have insider news.
Got that insider news for everybody who's watching.
Yep, we got spies everywhere, people.
There we go. Hey, thanks, Mike Bitcoin Outlaw. Said no sound lag today. Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we back in here. Make sure you smash that like and share button, people. I'm telling you, fixing that lag was like the highlight of the week already.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get this article set up for you. Jump into this. Boom. There we go. Top story of the day. This is straight up tech news that's going on in crypto, but it's huge. Satoshi time traveler. What is the 21E8 mystery?
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin Zay, please tell us what this 21E8 mystery is and why everyone should be paying attention to it.
All right. So if you are a supporter of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general, you know that you have to mine in order to produce the different blocks where you can have the transaction. So if you know that in order to mine, what miners do is they actually find the mathematical problem, they solve it, or find the nonce, so to say. And this process is with leading zeros. Usually 4 leading zeros is sufficient. The more leading zeros, the harder it is to actually find. So what happened yesterday was there was a block that was mined that we haven't seen in a technical term since the Genesis block of Bitcoin.
Which is the initial block.
Which is the very first block Bitcoin was ever started. This is the first time we've ever seen, from a technical standpoint, a hash that was this difficult. So what it means is, for one, the leading zeros, there were so many leading zeros, every leading zero increases the amount of computing power. It was so much leading zeros that usually it would take 2,500 years to have this computing power. So for one, it either somebody has an enormous amount of computing power or is a quantum computer that mined it. That's one option. Also, two, the person who mined it may have just got completely lucky, which is, slim to none, but it is a possibility. Also, two, if if the quantum computing was introduced, because it hasn't been introduced to us, people are saying Satoshi might have time traveled. What they're saying is, like, for instance, in a you know, AI world, you know, scientific world, basically what will happen is somebody time traveled to the future, saw how the world was going to be, and that they were able to reproduce it using artificial intelligence in the past. And the only reason that that's not so crazy to think about is because the chances of this happening is as slim as it can get. It's basically it's basically like somebody cracked the Bitcoin code completely, because if SHA-256, the algorithm that runs it, is broken, then Bitcoin is gone, people. So the reason this is important is that whoever mined this has an enormous amount of computing power or is extremely lucky. And the time travel stuff is kind of, you know, out there. However, we don't know who Satoshi is. We don't know where it came from. And aliens, what we perceive as alien technology, I've always said this myself personally, is that some of the technology that comes out or that has come out over the years has been sort of fishy to me as far as humans creating it. Because if a human created it, they either had to be on some type of amazing drugs, or they were in some crazy place in their mind where they basically had to outthink what humans regularly think, and they came up with an idea. Like, who would come up with Wi-Fi? How could you come up with?
I always say the submarine. Who is the first person to say we're gonna put a ship underwater and stay there? And stay,
yeah. Certain technology. That drug test today. Yeah, in my opinion, I mean, it's certain technology that we've been inspired by outside sources. However, how we harness that technology, how we use it, remains to be seen. However, this is a very big thing in the mining community, so to say, because it's so hard. I mean, I doubt that there are, you know, aliens that send it back, but it's extremely unlikely, and it is fun to play around with it, because as long as Satoshi stays anonymous, we can make up whoever we think he is. So Kobe Fields asks, can we explain the extra zeros and how his computer back in the day could solve this function? He had to artificially do it at that time to get it rolling. So the thing is, so
it's like a simulation there.
Basically, yes. Okay. That's why they're saying it may be AI. It could be artificial intelligence doing it, because it fixed the issue before it started. That's why I keep telling people, you may think NSA did it or it's a group of people, but I would not be surprised if it's artificial intelligence that aggregated all of the data in order to come up with it.
And then just went back and fixed it.
And went back and fixed it on its own.
That could happen.
And it's possible.
That's Black Mirror all day. Exactly. But it could happen. Yeah.
How do you think these people write TV shows? They get inspired by something. So, in my opinion, I think they were just extremely lucky, or we might have found Satoshi, the guy who runs BTC Top. That was the actual mining pool that hashed it. So unless he's Satoshi, they just got extremely lucky and mined a block. 21E8 also has some significance, and you know, it's a lot of people going in on it that are into mining that are way smarter than me. However, just looking at the data, it is highly unlikely that it's happened, or quantum computers may be here. So
something happened.
Something happened, and Twitter did go crazy. A lot of geeked out people like myself really kind of went crazy, because it really was the first time since the very beginning we've seen this. So
there we go.
Could be the age of Aquarius. Some people were saying it's a new age starting. AI actually fixed it to do it at an exact same time.
Before it goes into the future.
Like literally, isn't today the first day of summer? I believe. I don't know. Or yesterday was. Like, it's basically like the timing of it was so perfect. It seems like it was planned, but we'll see.
All right, so Gabriel Hernandez is saying, let's go with, quote, lucky. Jizzy Mac is saying the same thing. Basically, yeah, humans have a hard time believing it's just dumb luck.
Oh, yeah, dumb luck is boring. Yeah. I mean, I can go with dumb luck. That's perfectly fine, because I've seen a lot of dumb luck happen.
Right.
But
this is dumb lucky.
But at the same time, this is more fun. Just discussing different ideas, what could happen. So.
Roderick Harden, shout out to Roderick. He said finally made it to live stream. Been listening on Spotify for a second. Hey, shout out and welcome to the stream.
Oh yeah,
Torrance J said, "Come on, Zay."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just exploring ideas. You don't have to worry about me going off on the deep end, but you have to. If it's a possibility, you have to explore it, because if you didn't, Bitcoin would have never been invented, because the possibility of taking down federal banks was very slim to none too.
Yeah, that's
and look
true
where
too.
we're at now, and they're basically sweating in their sleep. So
great point by Coke by Paris. Coke by Paris said, "I can believe it. Facebook's AI made its own language up, so imagine what else is out there waiting to drop."
Yep.
That is true, and that is a huge story to me that I think was glossed over, because they shut. For those who don't know, Facebook had an AI program that created its own language and started operating. They ended up shutting down that program when it happened. But that does, I mean, again, it sounds far-fetched, but it actually isn't that hard, people. Once you code things or start to program things and code things and basically make smart software where it says if this happens in the past and in the future, this will happen next. I mean, it can go in and start making its own changes.
Hey,
so,
as someone who was coding back in college and we were creating robots back in the day, and I sat and watched a robot create a movie script based on 1,000 different movies that we were feeding it over a different semester. Trust me, I've seen robots do some crazy stuff that humans aren't capable of at a high rate. So we'll see. And I want to shout out who's that? Roderick.
Right, I saw him making Ninth
Wonder.
Wonder.
Yeah, Roderick Hart. It's funny. He's like, I was seeing your face. It looks exactly like he sounds. I always imagine him as Ninth Wonder talking about crypto. It's funny you say that. Ninth Wonder, when I used to do a radio show back in the day, used to always come in the studio. One of my biggest heroes back in the day. Rhapsody, shout out to her. And from North Carolina. We all from North Carolina, so hey, I guess that's how North Carolina people sound.
Raise these T-shirts up and spin them around.
Oh, yeah.
John Siebert said Ari Paul had a good explanation on this. So if you're listening and you get a chance, check out Ari Paul's explanation on the 21E8 as well. Milto, great point. Milto said, would it be possible it was reprogrammed to be released at a given date? That's a good point too.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally never know. Crypto Q, shout out to Crypto Q, of course, one of our in-house moderators, said, can AI violate patents or proprietary? I can't even say that word right now. Proprietary tech by creating its own languages. Yeah, that's a good point. Wow.
Well, I will say that humans have this propensity to think we can write laws that people will just follow. I can guarantee you, if artificial intelligence starts writing laws based on how other artificial intelligence reacts, that's when you'll start getting the District 9 type wars. Because at that point, you'll be like, okay, they're smarter than us, and we can't do anything about it. And they're coming around and arresting people based on whatever rules they made up in their own society. That's the dystopian future people think it is. So.
This is the future of the military. All you need is your own bot, your bot guard. That's been in a lot of movies lately. It's going to happen. You're going to have your own robot guard.
Absolutely.
All right, enough sci-fi, even though some of this stuff is definitely crazy. Let's go on to what's happening right now in the real world. Bitcoin makes historic first appearance in U.S. Supreme Court opinion. Wow. Looks like the case Wisconsin Central Ltd. versus United States did not involve Bitcoin's regulatory or legal status, rather examine whether employee stock options represent taxable compensation under the Railroad Retirement Act of 1937. 1937. That's what, I hate the fact that we're using these things as precedent.
Man.
To a certain extent, I get it. You're talking about, some of those 10 Commandment type laws, thou killing, stealing, all that. Okay, we can go precedent on that. But when you're talking about technology, stock options, X, Y, and Z, why are we using things from 1930? Weren't we still on gold, or did we just get off or something? I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. But tell us a little bit more what's going on in this case and why it's important.
Oh, yeah. So for the first time ever, Supreme Court has actually mentioned Bitcoin in a docket. Bitcoin has been mentioned in several court cases. However, first time at the Supreme Court, they're ruling on this. They basically were stating that over time, we perceive money as a different way, because they discuss cowrie shells, they go into gold, and then they actually say perhaps one day employees will be paid in Bitcoin or some other type of cryptocurrency. Technically, that's already happened. People are already being paid. Just because you ain't seen it or you haven't experienced it doesn't mean one day it's here. I'm tired of the old people telling me one day when I've been using it for the last 5 years. So it's weird for people to say that. But they have to put that in there because they can't ignore the fact that the way people perceive money is changing. We've been using digital currency, whether you know it or not, the last 5-10 years regularly. It's just been through your computer, through your bank, through your app. This is just a realization of how it should be, because your money shouldn't be tied to a single entity. So it's good to see that it's in the Supreme Court dockets, that they actually acknowledge it. And I believe some people are pushing for Ross Albright's case to go to the Supreme Court. So that'll probably be the second time it's mentioned, of course, but that'll be a complete Bitcoin case.
And for those who don't know, Ross Ulbricht, of course, free Ross, he was an operator of now defunct dark web marketplace Silk Road. Basically, Silk Road, while it did sell legal things as well, it was known to sell drugs, guns, all types of, all the negative stuff in the world, right? However, it was basically like the person who created Craigslist or Backpage. They have this site and other people use it. So a lot of people think he was unfairly convicted and with the evidence found. So he's serving life without chance of parole in prison right now in the United States. Of course, they tried him in New York City, right next to Wall Street, though. So you're saying that's going to spark maybe another appeal by him?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and appeal more, simply because he was first through the door, always get shot. And he was the first, and I think they just wanted to make an example of him.
Definitely.
When in reality, his actual actions don't warrant jail time. It's more of the people who are involved. They need to find the people who are doing the crimes instead of just arresting.
Well, he was entrapped as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to read up on that story, go ahead. The people here entrapped by another was it Secret Service agent who ran the cryptocurrency for Secret Service, even though they didn't know I have idea what it was then. He was caught stealing money. He's in prison. As well as what was this? Another like a federal employee.
Another federal employee. Yeah, they took like $1 million worth.
Yeah, so it was thieves and thieves. You know.
Exactly.
But yeah, you know what the most important thing though is, people, literally 2 years ago, Bitcoin still wasn't real. It was fairy dust, all these negative things. Last year, you heard all the negativity about it. Beginning of this year, which we called last year, all of a sudden now we're trying to regulate ICOs and make it, you know, for everybody and for your protection. And now, for the first time ever, the word Bitcoin has been spoken in the halls of the U.S. Supreme Court.
That's what I'm talking about.
We are tracking. Again, these are all bullish signals, people. We are tracking for greatness. Just hold on tight.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the government, in the United States, members of Congress must disclose crypto holdings above $1,000.
This is going to get good.
It sounds like Congress are listening to the gentleman of crypto in the morning. They heard us yesterday. Basically call them out for their fraudulent acts of just making DOD employees do it. And of course, Bitcoins, they said, well, hey, if that's the case, we should have politicians, everybody doing it as well. Looks like Congress are going to do it now.
Oh, yeah. They are government employees.
Not everybody, but we got a few.
Yeah. And I mean, in my opinion, the $1,000 disclosure for regular employees of the government, regular everyday people who just go to work, do the paperwork, whatever, that's unnecessary. But if you are a political, whatever, if you are in Congress, if you're in the House of Representatives, either the Senate, it doesn't matter. You should have to disclose how much crypto you own, because you have to disclose how much money you raised anyway. So how much crypto you have, it will be interesting to see. It'll be a bunch of no coiners, of course, but there's probably be a few of them that'll be like, man, I got to show I got 100 Bitcoins from this last thing, you know, whatever. So that'll be interesting to see. And I wonder how they'll deal with it for the people who didn't disclose it before, you know, and if they just decide not to do it now, we'll see. So
shout out to GODTB and Maurice Parks. Shout out to Maurice Parks. Thank you for the $2 tip. Much appreciated, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny that they've actually shot themselves in the foot with this because, of course, like you said, federal employees are not thinking about themselves. Yes, the president of the United States is a federal employee, so the fact that he doesn't have to disclose anything, not even talking about specifically President Trump, any president in the past, because we all know Bush had oil fields down in Texas that no one knew about. They all should have to say something. I'm interested to see two things. First, if the congressional members actually disclose it, because, again,
come on, man.
They haven't been playing fair. You know, they haven't been playing fair this time, so it'd be interesting to see it. And secondly, I want to see if they're going to start to repeal some of this stuff or slow down on some of this regulation. Now it's wait, us too.
So we got to do it too.
Hold on. Let's go ahead. Let's get rid of that. Let's bump that number up to 100,000 or something. You know what I mean? A million.
I want y'all to chill out on all regulations.
So it would be very interesting to see anyone in Congress has it. But you know what? To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if like 95% of them don't, because they're all owed to dinosaurs mentally.
Bunch of no pointers.
This is why that these regulations are going crazy. As
half of them paid off by the bank, so it's not even a thing to them. So
right,
they're not gonna mess with it.
All right, big news: Stanford University launches blockchain research center supported by Ethereum Foundation. What's going on over there in Stanford?
Stanford. Well, it looks like they are introducing a blockchain.
Stanford.
Good old Stanford University, a blockchain research center. As you know, we basically said before, a lot of colleges are introducing blockchain classes, are introducing Bitcoin and blockchain studies, and it looks like Ethereum is teaming up in order to examine how blockchain technology can transform additional business interactions, according to the official announcement. And Vitalik Buterin actually tweeted about it, and they have the initiative up, so a lot of people are excited about this. What I will say is, no matter what your thoughts about Ethereum, Omis, Go, or some of these other ones, Polychain, the ability to introduce it to college students is a great aspect of cryptocurrency, because the next wave of the economy, the next people who are coming in the economy are college students and high schoolers, and they will not be using banks to the capacity that we have. They will not be worried about credit cards as much as we have. So this is good that they're introducing it. They are starting on the computer science side of it, sort of, so they can have builders building dApps, building infrastructure, but it will move to the financial side as soon as, like we've seen in the past, as soon as the value starts going up, people want to know financially, how do I use this? What can I use it for? So good to see there at Stanford, one of many schools. So
And you know what? Not only that, college students, I mean, especially high school, you talk about college students, they have nothing but leisure time. They have a ton of free time. Not everybody. I know some people work multiple jobs, take multiple classes, and study hard. But at the end of the day, if you've ever been to school, you know you have some free time as well. And with that free time, I mean, that is how things are created. It takes free time. Once you're an adult, you have kids, you're working, bills are due, you don't have that much time. But, you know, you talk about college students who are already smart and trying to think of the next cutting edge thing.
Plenty of time.
Sitting around in the dorm room, and now they're being exposed to crypto and some of these projects firsthand. I mean, they will come up with things. It will be more Zuckerberg and Bill Gates dropouts, you know, creating the next multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar business. So.
Oh, yeah. And I want to get to this comment right here on Facebook. Monique Michelle said about the last subject with the federal, she said she works for the Fed. Amounts don't have to be disclosed. No different from stock or real estate. Only have to say I have Bitcoin over 1,000. That's it. It's not as crazy as media is making it to be. And one of the things I want to address with that is if you've been regulated so much that you think that there's no big deal, that's why we have a problem. Because we've been so regulated to the point. Why do I have to tell you?
Like, why would I tell you anything?
Anything. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't say it's not a big deal giving them anything. Because it starts with no big deal. Then it turns into a little bit of a deal. Then it turns into a sort of big deal.
Then it's too late. You believe in the system. You believe in everything they gave you this far.
And they started it off with the reporting part of it because, you know, the stocks that you have and the real estate that you have, reporting it is for the IRS to take their percentage of it. How many people here think that the IRS has been basically, you know, perfect in what they've done with taxes? Nobody. So in my opinion, you have to change it from the beginning. You can't start off saying it's not that big a deal because they've been doing not that big a deal for 100 years. But I do understand to the capacity that you just say I have over 1,000. It may not seem like it, but as soon as they identify you as one of those people, I wonder what's going to happen next from that point. And
honestly, to be all the way real, if you are a government employee, there's really nothing to worry about because if you're good at your job, now this is barring those who excel at their job. Now, for those average people and the people, because I mean it's government, so you get all three, very good, very bad, and in the middle. You know, in the middle of the crowd and the bottom of the barrel have to worry. But if you're good at your job in the government, I can guarantee you, if they were to one day find out, hey, you got 100K in crypto, or whatever. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all. Oh, all right, we're going to have to write you up for this, but other than that, go back to work. All right, you're good at what you do. It's a service job. You're being underpaid already. This is really for, like, the people at the bottom of the barrel that they want to fire. And then also, and then, of course, Jamal J said, but terrorism. That is the other thing.
It's the only thing they keep saying.
That's one of those red flag indicators they're going to have for your secret clearance, basically. They're going to say, oh, well, you have 100K in crypto. Well, why is that? We're going to flag this person. So, other than that, like I said, if you're good at your job, you don't have to worry about it.
And it's the only reason it's a big deal is because I was here when there was nothing.
That's the biggest deal.
I've looked through the laws in 2013.
It's been around and none is here. But since it's made people money now, all of a sudden you need to report it. And that's the biggest issue, and that says it all.
And I mean, if you regard software as something that needs to be reported, I need to report my Adobe, my Microsoft Office. I need to report it.
Well, should I report my comic book trading cards from a kid? I got some original Iron Mans. Those things are worth a lot of money right now. Do I report that?
I got some 2K tokens.
I got like 200 cards.
I got some old records still in the package.
You know what I mean?
These are all things.
Where do we stop?
Yeah, they all gain value over time.
The buck stops here.
You got to start somewhere, man. You got to start somewhere.
Oh, man. All right. Next big story. Bloomberg, crypto and fiat trading app Robinhood in talks to obtain a U.S. banking license. Wow. If an app can get a banking license.
Hey, man. I've used Robinhood. Robinhood is slick. I like it. Really nice interface. Great way to trade, do options. And I think if they get this banking license, man, this changes the game completely because
watch out, Coinbase.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say. Coinbase was trying. Then they were going for their first license pretty soon. So if Robinhood gets to it first, this is what we talk about when we say competition. Competition is good, and you know their side of it is more stock options, and the Bitcoin side of it is coming. But if they become their own bank, you could fund through their bank your own Bitcoin account or your own options. You don't even have to link a bank to it. So they're trying to take over.
Who's Robinhood owned by? Do you know?
Not sure. I have to go behind the
curtain. I kind of want to see that because honestly, all the big players right now have that traditional institutional backing, which basically allowed them to get into these talks of obtaining a banking license.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, granted, the regulation to even get a license is ridiculous to begin with. It's basically like, are you super wealthy on your own, or do you know a lot of wealthy people?
Yeah.
Then buy.
Yeah, they're worth billions. So,
because this application itself is going to cost you $20,000 just for fun.
Yep.
All right, last but not least, Amsterdam's airport helps travelers swap leftover euros for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have been talking about this for a while. We have some things behind the scene that directly relates to this story, people. But this is what's coming.
Yeah.
No one wants to pay 30% on every dollar to exchange money when you travel throughout countries. This stops it now.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Charlotte Douglas Airport for telling me that Bitcoin wasn't real back in 2014. I tried to get an ATM at the airport because I already saw the writing on the wall. Our currency exchanges are so inefficient. There's no reason why you should have to walk up to an exchange, give physical money, and pay an exorbitant fee in order to get the same back. Tried to get an ATM there. They laughed in my face twice, actually. I sent the proposal twice. And now we have one in Amsterdam that basically shows this is a very easy process. You don't have to carry like I know I have a friend, or my cousin was telling he saw a rapper trying to fly somewhere else. They were dividing the cash up amongst the people flying with them because you only have a certain amount in your pocket. Imagine when you get to the airport, you just get Bitcoin for it, and you can fly wherever you want comfortably with your Bitcoin in your wallet.
And use your Bitcoin
and then use it in other countries, or exchange it at the Bitcoin ATM for. It has to be lower fees though than the currency exchange, or you just going back to what we had before. So, yeah, this is a great idea. Amsterdam, they have a Bitcoin embassy. They got a street that's straight Bitcoin that you can't even go down if you don't have Bitcoin to spend. So they are definitely forward. They're definitely forward thinking. I can tell you that.
There we go. I would even say keep initially lower the rates, but in the long term keep the rates high because why are you leaving crypto for fiat?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, other than that, what are we doing for the free Bitcoin today?
Oh yeah. So for the free Bitcoin, when I wanted to discuss the members of Congress, when they disclose if they have over 1,000, will you look more favorably, or will you think it's actually something that they need to actually, give away or use for something else? Do you think this will actually help the government or help the U.S. economy if they can disclose how much Bitcoin they have? Let us know. Put your public address, and we'll send those free Satoshis.
Listen, Congress is about to look like the the IRS tax thing a year or two ago, and they say only like 800 people reported crypto. Listen, it might be 2 people in Congress raise their hand. The rest of them going to be like, well, we've been lying this long. Why stop now?
Exactly. Yeah. So
y'all think I'm going to start telling the truth now? How you think I got here?
Exactly.
I'm not the chair whip. What do they call this? The Senate whip for nothing.
Oh yeah.
All right. Other than that, have a great day, people. Happy Thursday. We'll see you all tomorrow. Sergeant Crypto said, don't feel bad, Zay. I sent a proposal to New York City Technical College and CUNY to start blockchain classes and crickets.
Oh, yeah. They'll come back around. I'm sure they search for those emails.
Listen, we have all had this door slammed in our face, which is why we are going to enjoy flipping it. Right. I was trying to think of the most PC way to say it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Other than that, people, happy Thursday. We will see you all tomorrow. Until then, cheers.
Have a good one.